Are you the best footballer in the world right now?
I think so, yes. In my mind, I'm always the best. I don't care what the people thinking, what they say. In my mind, not just this year, but always, I'm always the best. I'm always going to say that.
Welcome to Level Up Talks. No matter how far away your goal is, disappointment and frustration are binding you, there is always hope. There is always the one who cares, the one you love. There is always a way to level up.
So we're going to talk about how we're going to start a podcast.
Suggesting not talking forever seems like an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Yeah, but limited battery power means that we'll have to work with what we have.
Yes. You want to talk about today, Brad?
Law of attraction.
Oh, okay.
You're an expert on it. I'm gonna
Okay.
I want to hear about it.
Okay.
And
You
I
want
know
to introduce?
some of our general audience is really connected with one of your groups about law of attraction.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a good topic to kind of dig deeper on.
Just throw ourselves
As a
in.
very ignorant law of attraction person and one that's not.
Okay. All right. Do you want to introduce and roll out an
Sure.
introduction?
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Thanks for joining us this week.
What episode is this? 6?
7, 8, 9.
Six-
I'm not too sure.
6.67?
Yeah, something. I think actually 10. Because we have 0 and 0.5, those really
Okay.
weird ones,
Yeah.
pre-birth.
Yeah, okay.
And I think we're at episode 7. This will be 8, so yeah, 10.
Okay. And what are we talking about today?
Law of attraction.
Okay.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
As the expert, tell me about what law of attraction is, because I don't know if I had heard of law of attraction in a formal sense.
Okay.
I think I had, just naturally maybe become aware of
Mm-hmm.
the law of attraction, but not having it called that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Have you watched The Secret?
I have a
Okay.
couple times.
That's where most people start. It's where I recommend most people to start. And that movie, it's on Netflix, and it got a lot of bad criticism, I think, over the years. And I think it was really, I think it's sad that it got so much bad criticism just based on the fact that I think people argued that there was too much of just, envision it and visualize it and it's going to come to fruition, and that they didn't talk enough about taking action.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, if you watch it again, there is actually a fairly good size portion on taking action. I always say to people, it's really important to set goals and have visions and have a vision board or a vision album. I have a vision album on my phone. But more importantly, I think it's taking action on that. You can't just say, I'm going to win the lottery and then not buy a lottery ticket.
Right,
so I think
right.
that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions about the law of attraction is you actually still have to take action.
Yeah, thinking about it, and I know that's to be true in what you're saying, is I think that's where it certainly falls down, is that the way, whether as an individual I missed that or not when they were talking about the action part, I didn't hear it the first time or maybe the second time, and I think that's where I think there is a lot of criticism. How old is that movie? How long has that been around?
Well, I think I watched it 12 years ago when I started the journey, and I think it was only a year or two old, if even at that time.
Because it looks like it's from the 70s.
Yeah,
that
I know.
movie, I don't know if they can spice it up a little bit.
Actually, they are doing a second version of it with Katie Holmes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Why is
be
Katie
in
Holmes in it?
They're going to do another... They're not going to have it documentary style. They're going to do another version of The Secret created by Rhonda Byrnes. I don't know a lot about it. I just know that Katie Holmes is going to be in it. She's starring in it, and yeah, you can Google it and find out a little bit more info. I think it's coming out in the fall, perhaps. So that should be pretty interesting. But I definitely believe in it. I live, breathe, eat, and sleep the law of attraction. It's worked for me year after year after year. Am I an expert in it? Somewhat. Has anybody in the whole planet totally figured out how to manifest to a T? No. And so that's kind of the cool part about it.
Talk about manifestation, because, that is what The Secret is, right?
Yeah.
So that's just another word.
Yeah.
What is manifesting something?
So manifesting is really just the thought that everything in this world is energy. So if you held your hand under a microscope, you would see all of the little, cells and neurons all moving around. Everything is composed of energy. And so what you don't realize is that you're putting out energy vibrations into the universe. And if you're putting out negative vibrations saying that you're going to, if you're feeling really sick all the time and you're waking up every day saying, I feel sick, I feel sick, I feel sick, then you will actually manifest and create sickness in your body. And it's not only, yourself, but it's, wealth, health, happiness. And so, yeah, it's the law of vibration. It's the law of attraction. It's working whether people are aware of it or not. And I think that's the difference. We talk about it all the time, this state of consciousness where people are getting up every day and they're like zombies and they're just getting up, going to work, they're coming home and they're just cooking the same meals, watching the same shows, and they're just living this monotonous life because they feel that they don't have any control over their destiny. And according to law of attraction, everything is energy and you actually create your destiny with your thoughts. So whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, you're projecting that out into the universe, and then the universe is delivering back whatever and mirroring back whatever you're projecting.
Connect the dots on why you think that happens. Because, just having a thought, you've already said it, isn't going to actually make the new house that you want show up for you. But what is it about believing or thinking about that starts the chain of reaction? Like, what is it that's what's happening? It's
definitely subconscious, right? So it's consciously, you can be saying, I use this example often. Consciously, you can go to the mailbox and say, there's going to be a check, there's going to be a check, there's going to be a check. But if unconsciously, in the back of your head, in the pit of your stomach, you reach in and you think, oh God, there's going to be a bill, you're going to reach in and you're going to pull out a bill. Why does it work? Because it's the law of vibration. It's energy going out, and then the universe rearranges itself in order to line up these pieces. Part of it, I think, is the reticular activating system. So
what the
RAS.
hell is that?
So the RAS is when you go to buy a new car, for example, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere because it's been lit up in your brain.
Gotcha.
So you have this conscious awareness that's been brought out of your unconscious mind into the conscious realm. And once you start seeing it, you see it everywhere. So if you start putting in your vision album a whole bunch of pictures of Paris, for instance, and you start saying, I really want to go to Paris, you're living it, you're breathing it, you're eating, you're sleeping it, you're thinking about it, you can smell what it would smell like to be there, you can feel what it would feel like to sit in a cafe in the streets of Paris. If you're really immersed in that, then when a deal comes along, or maybe something pops up on Facebook for win a free trip to Paris, you're going to notice that when you didn't notice it before because it's now on your reticular activating system. And as long as you take action on those things, then those things are more likely to come to fruition. So, I was talking to a client of mine I was coaching, and we were talking about their vision albums and creating their vision album on their phone. And so when I got talking to him and I said, put all of your visions in there for where you want to be health-wise, wealth-wise, trip-wise, vacation-wise. And then he said, I want to do a renovation on my house. And I said, okay. So put some pictures in there. And he goes, oh my gosh, I already have a whole album already on, my vision of what the kitchen's going to look like. I said, well, then no surprise. Guess what is going to come true first? The kitchen. Because he already had an album of, 30, 40, 50 photos on there of what he wanted his kitchen to look like. Right. So whatever you're focusing on is what you're going to bring forth.
Do you think that as a result of focusing on it, you actually, even if you're not consciously making decisions to move towards it, subconsciously,
yes,
you see them, you act and lean into those things. Yes. You're more probably, like you said, more aware of the...
More aware. You're more likely to take action on those things. And I think this is also why people say that you should focus on doing a job that you really love. Because if you're doing a job that you really love, you're waking up every day, you're thinking about ways to better that job, better yourself in that job, and that job will typically bring you more money. And it's just because law of attraction, law of vibration, law of energy, wherever the energy is flowing to is where everything is, headed and where everything is going. And so that's what's going to expand. So, I think if you have a job that you really love, you're going to have a tendency to be better at it. And the better you are at something, the more likely you're going to get paid more money for it.
So these things are called dream boards, vision boards.
Yeah.
Is there any other names for those things?
Well, I'm sure there's lots of different variations of what people are doing out there. I think traditionally there's vision boards where you cut out things from magazines or from Google and you clip it on a board. Mm-hmm. I find it a little bit limited to do that, and I actually prefer to have a vision album. I have about 350 photos in it of all the things that I want to manifest and attract into the world. And I go over that album fairly frequently and look at it and visualize and daydream.
There must be something to be said about when you are dreaming in leaping forward or thinking about where you're going opposed to where you are, that just has a positive impact on your whole energy level and your state of mind.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
for sure. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think as you start studying a lot of successful people, not a lot, but pretty much every single successful person that you meet, if they're not following the practices of the law of attraction consciously, they're definitely doing it unconsciously. And as you start studying them, you definitely see a pattern in the comments and behaviors that they're saying. A lot of people are actually using the verbiage, I've manifested, or I've, drawn these things into my life. I'm, my positive mindset has created my reality, so there's lots of these buzzwords that are going around, but certainly even people who are not aware of the law of attraction, as you start hearing these successful people talking, they're talking in that language anyways, whether they're aware of it or not. They're waking up, they're journaling, they've got some sort of, plan in their head of where they want to take their company. They've had a vision and a dream, Walt Disney, Oprah Winfrey, like every single person that you talk to that's, created some form of success and happiness in their life, got there because first they put that intention out to the universe that they wanted to get there. Yeah. So it's the intention first. That's why the vision board is important, because, if you don't put it on there, then your intention's not there.
Right.
Or if you don't put it in your head, you don't necessarily have to do an album where it's visual, but you could be doing something auditory. You could be just laying in bed, and just talking to yourself or talking out loud. You're probably going to have some visual attraction to it though too.
I 100% agree. And one of the things that I think is sitting here and I've been thinking about a lot lately is last couple months I've been a little bit off. And one of the reasons why I would think is because I've been questioning that vision and that purpose and all those things. So while not maybe catastrophic depression or like completely derailed me, I would say that I haven't been 100%, but I would probably link it back to just being questioning.
That's right.
My purpose, my vision, and all those things, right? My dream, like what is that? And when you start to question that, which I don't think is a bad thing, it does cause you to go through a state of flux. Yeah.
And it's like you go into a bit of a state of confusion.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. And I think you feel uneasy. And I think people feel uneasy because, they want to change, but they don't know how to change. They don't know what they want to change to. And we're creatures of habit. So we have this way of getting up and repeating our lives over and over again because it's comfortable. It's easy. And as soon as you start breaking those boundaries and pushing those limits, it's scary.
Yeah.
Deciding to change jobs or change careers or pilot a new project.
It's scary for someone like me to be in the state that I have been or was in the last probably a little while because it's very uncomfortable. So I could understand, because I think it's actually a good thing. Yeah. It's not comfortable at all because I pride myself on my state and my mindset. But I think it's necessary. But I understand why people wouldn't want to start questioning what they're doing if they're comfortable. Like, why would you want to go to this? Because you feel like you took 2 steps forward and you took a giant step back. Yeah. And why would I want to do that?
Well, I think this is what's important to understand too, that not everybody has to, it's not a bad thing if you don't want to be a millionaire. If you don't want, if you're happy with your life and you're getting up every day and you're feeling fulfilled in your monotonous routine life, that's great. As long as you're happy and what works for you and is good for you is good for you. My level of success, in my head versus other people's success levels may be different. And, Donald Trump's success level is going to be very different than my success level. So it's just, to me, it's about progress. It's about making moves forward, impacting the world, making those changes. It's not always about money. I think when people start talking about the law of attraction, the secret, manifesting, it gets very money related where people are heavily focused on that.
I think that's totally misplaced, or it shouldn't be. I mean, maybe some people look at it like that, but and that, again, that's okay. Who was I talking to the other day about that? It was silly. It was maybe a silly analogy, but someone was talking about online about hating a certain genre of music, and I thought, somebody loves it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it's horrible for you, maybe, but let's just call it what it is. It just means that you have a difference of opinion. It doesn't make it wrong and you
because
right.
if we all like the same things,
Right.
we would all fight over the same car, the
Right.
same house,
Right,
the same spouse,
yeah.
right? Like, it's good that there's that variety out there, that we want something different, but I think people need to stop focusing so much on the law of attraction being surrounding, money. And it's not. It's about happiness. It's about relationships. It's about just overall fulfillment, health, wealth. It's everything, right?
Absolutely.
And I definitely, there's hundreds of thousands of stories. If you just go to the Secret website, you can search anything on there. You can type in any keyword and find stories relating to lottery wins, relating to health, relating to people who lost their vision and gained their vision back.
Somebody, I think it was, and I don't know if this is true, you see it on there now, I'm assuming it is, I don't know why you want to make this up, but Alex Trebek, who suffered a horrible diagnosis, and he's been given a great prognosis at this point, from what I hear, of potential remission, which is incredible for pancreatic cancer. And one of the things that he's quoted as saying, again, if the article's true, is that he believes that as a result of all the positive energy that came out. And the way he positioned it, quite frankly, set that up.
Yes.
Right? He came out and asked for that in a very positive way.
Yeah.
And anyways, that's another example of potential law of attraction.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that because there's lots of people that are positive and they're no longer with us, and that's horrible. So
and I don't think it's not just a simple case of like, I've been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and I'm going to lay in bed and just wish my way to health.
Right.
Like, it's not that
there needs to be that
easy,
action,
right?
He's probably seen the best doctors. He's probably eating a great...
Correct. He's, there's lots of different things that I'm sure he's taking action on. I'm sure the mindset is huge, and there's definitely lots of testimonies and stories about people that have healed their bodies. But it's the key with it. This is really the key. It's the subconscious belief. So once again, if you're sitting there all day and you're saying, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be healthy, but in the back of your head, you're so fearful and thinking, this isn't going to work.
How do you get over that? Because you've got to, you've studied this, you're doing this, but you too probably struggle with this in areas of your life. So how do you, because even the act of struggle is a negative towards you not getting what you want, which is unfortunate because I think we all do. So how do we manage that? Like, what is it that...
Well, I think honestly it needs to start in the school board. I think this is something that needs to be taught at a young age. So I think for me, I have 30 years of brainwashing on negativity and negative hardware. Programming, right? In my subconscious brain. So I feel it's going to take me probably 30 years to program that out where it's completely out. I've been 12 years at it now. I'm certainly a lot better than I ever was. Sure. But, I have learned my most in the times that I've struggled, even throughout that 12 years, are when I learned the most about the law of attraction.
I mean, that's the good part about struggle, right? That is the positive. You're going to learn.
It's a journey. Do I know what that switch is that's going to turn it on and off? No, I don't. Mm-hmm. I can give you strategies.
What are a few strategies that you would recommend for people?
So... if you're in a negative state and you're not feeling good and you're feeling depressed, what I have a checklist that I kind of go through to try and get myself back to feeling good. Because listen, according to Abraham Hicks, she's, a philosopher on this theory and the law of attraction. She's one of the most brilliant minds out there. She says you can't monitor all your thoughts in a day. It's impossible. We have millions of thoughts happening. She says, but what you can monitor is how you're feeling. So you got to work on, being conscious of how you're feeling. Okay, I feel really good right now. Okay, great. Then keep doing that. If you're not feeling great, then you have to start doing some, strategies to get yourself back to feeling good. So for me, that might be meditating, going to the gym. For some people, it's horseback riding. For Kevin, it's getting on his dirt bike. Going through the photo album of my son and vacations that we've been on and thinking about happy places, doing visualization exercises, deep breathing exercises. John Assaraf is really fantastic. He's a really great book that I highly recommend called Inner Size, teaching people how to do deep breathing techniques. Get outside, go for a walk in nature, just music. Music's a great one.
Podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. motivational videos. We're so fortunate because we have so much at our fingertips. 12 years ago when I started this journey, I watched The Secret over and over and over again. It was a DVD because, YouTube and everything weren't that big, and you couldn't just go onto the internet and get motivated. It just wasn't a thing back then. You'd have to go buy a book. And so, right?
If you were lucky enough to have someone
that was, that was going to be positive and boost you out of it. So we're so fortunate that we have so much information available at our fingertips and so, some days it's meditation for me. Other days it's going for a walk. Other days it's going through the album. Like, I don't know what that switch is. I tell people I don't know.
But that's kind of in terms of like getting out of a rut.
Yeah.
Is there anything, if you're not in a rut and you just want to start attracting the things that you want in your life? I mean, it sounds like make a list.
Yeah. Make a list.
Get some visual.
Yeah. Lots of people do journaling every day. I'm grateful now that, and write it as though your dreams and goals are happening right now. I'm grateful now that I'm a billionaire. I'm grateful now that I have financial freedom. I'm grateful now that I get to travel 7 times a year.
I'm in size 32 jeans.
Exactly. Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. So write it out on a list, put it in a vision album, or just have it in your mind, and you need to continually be visualizing. There's affirmations you could be doing. Some people are really big at affirmations, which is, saying, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be rich. Noah St. John, he's brilliant. He actually takes the affirmation, he's turned it to an affirmation, F-O-R-M. And what he does is, instead of saying, I'm going to be rich, it's, why is it so easy for me to be rich? And asking a question, because when you're asking questions, the universe will answer those questions for you. It's a lot easier. And it's not that you get the answer instantly, but your mind will already start going out and starting to attract these things back to you in a question form, as opposed to a statement.
Well, I think you start to navigate actually your way to the solution, don't you? If you just assume that I'm going to be healthy or I'm going to go on this trip or whatever, it's not until you actually start questioning how you're going to do that until you actually take steps, right? That's the action part.
That's the action part. And then I think the biggest thing is to release. So Rhonda Byrne's in the movie, in The Secret, she talks a lot about just releasing, just having this unwavering faith. And I'm saying it's not necessarily you have to release and have an unwavering faith, but the biggest thing is don't worry about the how. Stop worrying about the how. We are overanalyzers. So people get caught up in, well, I don't know how I'm going to be a millionaire. I don't know how, and I'm using money a lot because it's an easy example. I don't know how I'm going to manifest that kind of money. I have a steady job. I make X amount of dollars. But you know what? This is subconscious programming that we're trying to break through. So stop worrying about the how. Maybe you'll come up with a brilliant idea tomorrow and you'll all of a sudden sell it to a company and they'll patent it and you'll be a millionaire. Maybe you'll open a company. Maybe you'll run into somebody who needs you as a business partner in their company and their vision. So don't worry about how it's going to happen. You just have to throw it out there and say, whatever, the universe is going to rearrange itself for me to have.
I'd rather focus on the why.
Yeah.
And I know that's overplayed too, but it's so true. That's more motivational than anything anyways, right? And you don't know how you're going to get to where you're going to get. I mean,
that's right.
Clearly.
You just don't know. You can't connect the dots going forward, only backwards. But I think too in that, not stressing about the how and just focusing on writing that list, focusing on it, taking action when when you feel inspired action. So when you're like somebody's coming along and they mention, I might want to do this business idea. What do you think? And I might want a business partner. If it feels inspired to you and you feel like it's aligning with you, then just keep moving with it.
Right.
And then when it stops feeling inspiring to you, stop moving with it.
Yeah.
And don't waste your time, expending your energy on a lot of negative people, a lot of negative
So it's okay
things.
to shift and pivot. Even though you've committed to something, you can shift it. You don't have to, and dwell on, well, I said I was going to do this. You can. Yeah.
And it doesn't, when it comes to your job, I say it all the time. People get so consumed they think they have to quit their current job to start a new project, and that's not true. It's not an either or, it's an either and. Or not an either and. It's just an and. Yeah. And so, don't get so caught up in all of the logistics of it. Just move, take action.
Sure.
Law of Goya, as John Ashraf always refers to, get off your ass.
Oh, okay.
Just take action.
What the hell is that?
Just take action, keep moving, just one little baby step at a time. If you took one small, tiny step every single day after a whole entire year, that would be a lot of steps.
A lot of baby steps add up to several big ones.
So just keep moving. And then, just keep studying it. I think people give up on the law of attraction. They try it for a bit and they go, I didn't manifest anything, only a coffee. And then they give up. They throw
I think
in
it's
the towel.
unfortunate because I think most of us everybody I think has experienced law of attraction. Probably based on just their environment, they had expectations of their lives, and most people are probably living some of those expectations.
Yeah.
Right. I've used this example before, but I know that I feel as though I have a home, 2 vehicles, 2 children, and a spouse because those are the things I saw when I was younger. Those are the things that I aspired to because my parents had those things.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that most people have that, right?
Yeah.
Middle income,
Yep.
job.
Gonna work to 65, retire.
Whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most people are living the law of attraction.
They are. They
so
just
I
are
think
not
that's the
aware of it.
misconception, right? And so
Yeah.
they're not aware that they can ask for more.
Well, and I always say to people...
Or not even ask for more. Ask for different.
Ask
I
for
think
different.
Ask
yeah.
for different. Because I think
Well,
more
what's wrong with
insinuates...
asking more?
I think it has a negative connotation, so it's kind of like brainwashing and programming.
Yeah.
I think they're the same word.
Yeah.
I just think that one has a positive... it just is received better.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
That's
because
very
I think
day.
more because some people what would make people actually more happy would be having less, and I think that's okay too. So I don't want to be caught up with the actual having more, just different.
Yeah, just different.
That they can have whatever they want.
Thank you. There we go. That's exactly it. I think we don't allow ourselves to stretch those boundaries because we don't want to get disappointed.
Sure.
So we're
that's our
afraid.
biggest defensive mechanism, right? Is just absolutely guilty.
Yeah, all of us are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even in my head, and I have like this amazing, incredible life that most people would only dream of. And there's still times that I think about stretching myself a little farther. And even I still go, well, is that kind of being greedy? Like, I really already have a beautiful house. Why would I want something more? Mm-hmm. You know, and I catch myself, and I think that's bad. We shouldn't live in that environment because, you know, when my bucket is full, I have so much more to overflow.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
You know, the more I make, the more I earn, the more I give. Yeah. I give time, I give energy, I give money. There's just so much more of me to give back when my bucket is overflowing.
That's the right answer.
So I don't know why we feel guilty about wanting more. But once again, that's another programming that we have deeply rooted in us, that people who want more are greedy. And so you have this thing going off in the back of your head saying, oh, I don't want to ask for more. I should be, you know, grateful for what I have. Well, just because...
And you are.
And that's the key.
Are.
I live in gratitude well over 50% of the day. Yeah. Over 50% of my day, I'm so grateful for this water. As I'm washing my hands, I'm so grateful I have hot water to wash my hands with.
I'm grateful for friends that dropped their day and gave me their car for today.
Yeah, exactly.
It was ridiculous. I was driving and I'm like...
But there's so much we take for granted, you know. Health is the biggest one of all that I think we all take for granted more than anything else out there.
Well, even if we're not as healthy as we should be, we're healthier than the majority of the world, right?
Yeah.
Like, really, we have access to
probably
too much to, we just have no idea.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing about the contrast in life, is you have somebody that's close to you that dies. I know.
Yeah,
speaking
of the time,
we don't want the video battery to die. But, you know, if you have somebody close to you that dies, we just had a death in the community, which was really sad. And, you know, I think the contrast is certainly shocks your body, gives you a pattern interrupt of like, hey, wake up. Like, we take so much for granted, you know, as we're all sitting back yelling at our kids for, you know, whatever, not flushing the toilet or cleaning up their toys or some stupid thing
boys are
out there, right? Like, and it's like stuff like that sometimes just really jolts you into the awareness of like...
Have we talked about Collateral Beauty, the movie?
No.
Awesome movie. If you haven't watched it,
no.
It reflects on tragedy and how, you know, those interrupts, like you say, kind of can give you time for contrast.
And, yeah, you have to have the bad in order to have and appreciate the good.
Yeah.
So gratitude, that's another huge piece. Maybe the biggest piece of the manifesting portion.
Yeah.
The more you're grateful for and the more you're happy about something, the more you're going to attract that. And we all know that because we all have friends or family members that are like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And what happens when they're grateful for something
you're more likely to do more for them.
Way more likely to do more. The universe gives us so much more than we give it. And the more we give
Do you think it gives you more? Or do you think it's kind of a mirror? Like, I don't want to go too long because I think we need to wrap this up. But I would want to talk about that a little bit more. Do you think it is more? Or do you think like...
Oh, yeah. I think we get way more from the universe than we're giving back to it.
Okay.
I think we're depleting the universe more than we're giving back. And
Are we
I
talking
think
about the
we're
same thing?
I think
or are
we're
we...
shifting though.
Okay.
I think energetically we are.
Because
on
from
the
a strictly
verge of-
energy perspective,
Yeah.
you can't make more
Yeah.
and you can't lose it.
Yeah.
So how do you get more
Okay.
back?
Okay. Fair enough.
So I mean,
To me, it's
I would
like
I would imagine some people take more than
Yeah.
they give.
yeah.
I think that's, but
When
I don't even know
I'm
about
thinking
that.
more like love and gratitude, right? Like
Right.
the universe gives us more love and gratitude than we're giving back to it. Like, you know, the trees, the flowers, they don't stress themselves to grow. They just grow, right? They all work in harmony with each other. And that's really how we as a community should be working more. We can learn a lot from our nature. Not to get all hokey about it, but you know,
a lot of people
we
would
put a
think that
lot
the
of
law of
stress on
attraction is
ourselves.
hokey,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
A
yeah,
lot of
that's
people.
okay.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Yeah, but that's why I wanted to have this conversation
Yeah.
because let's have the hokey conversation to see if some people might get some benefit from it.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's
'cause
like anything.
to
The
each their
people
own.
that think it's hokey are usually people who haven't practiced it or experienced it. They're experiencing it. They're just not conscious that they're
I
experiencing
would agree.
it.
That's why I bring up.
I
that
think like
most of us live
anyone,
it.
you know, there's
Most
lots
of
of
us
things
live it.
I disagree with, but then I also look at it and say, well, do I have enough knowledge to really to know whether or not I actually should be in disagreement?
Absolutely.
Because until you've studied it for 12 years, like I did, are we still working?
Yeah, we're still good.
Then, you know, you're not going to have the same knowledge base that I have.
Yeah.
I've got so many studies of people that I've watched and mentored with that, you know, are uber successful on all the levels, right across the board, health, wealth, happiness, friendships, relationships, etc. And truly all because of the law of attraction.
Yeah. Well, I believe in energy, so I
Yeah.
do believe in what you put out, you get back.
Mhm.
Karma, that whole thing has been with me forever. So
Yeah.
law of attraction, I don't think is too far of a stretch on that. And I
Mhm.
think the majority of us have been living law of attraction all of our lives, and we just don't know it.
You just don't know. You're not aware of it. It's happening.
You're creating an app.
Yeah. Yeah. Ali Horner and I are creating an app, vision. Well, I've been saying forever, I want some sort of app for vision boards, essentially. So it's a vision board, vision movie, journaling. So it's everything sort of all in one little app, and it should be launching in the next couple of months. So I'm really excited about that.
Cool.
And
And you'll be able to get it from
the App Store.
just iPhone or both?
We're working on the
iPhone
iPhone
first?
right now, and then we'll launch the Android.
And
Samsung.
the costs associated with it, haven't decided business model or not?
We haven't decided. I think
Cool.
it's going to be a really well priced, like
Yeah.
$4.99 or
Yeah.
$3.99, I think, to start.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, and I have a Law of Attraction community page
Mhm.
too. Law of
Yeah.
Attraction.
Well, we'll make sure that we link that in this
Okay,
and
into
share
the
maybe
comments,
this
yeah.
to the law of attraction. And
So
'cause it's-
anyone wants to know more information, I post a lot of other people's posts on Law of
Mhm.
Attraction,
Yeah.
and I try and do a very big variety because we all connect.
You've done a great
with
job at
somebody
maintaining
different.
and keeping content going, and
Yeah, it's
in
my
awe
passion.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a great community for people to talk about.
Yeah. So
you know,
yeah, I would
experiences.
encourage anybody to join that. Anybody that's looking for that positive boost every day.
Yeah, thanks.
Specific to law of attraction, but even if you're not,
Yeah, even just most of it's just positivity.
positive
Yeah.
reinforcement of different things. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I think we should leave it there just based
Okay.
on time. And I
Perfect.
feel like we rolled well today.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Have
Thanks,
a good
Brad.
day. Cheers.
Bye.